Bonjour! Welcome to another episode of Cuisine Michelle. I am Michelle. So tonight I'm going to be making something that I have made many times before. It's a favorite in our house. This is enchilada casserole. And this recipe comes from myrecipes.com, but I have heavily modified it. So yes, it's there, but not exactly in the same light. Anyway, this is my version. And here to start out with, first of all, you'll want the oven to be heating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And in your pan, you're going to start out with a pound of ground beef and a small onion that you've chopped up. We're going to be using a little chopping device here. And I've got this about on medium to medium high heat. And we're going to chop that up until we get this all cooked together. That'll take us just a few minutes. Okay, so this is now cooked through. You can see that I've got it all crumbled up and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain off the grease and I'm going to return this into the pan, but I'm not going to leave it on the heat because we're going to change out for a different pan. Okay, so we are now going to start the next part of the process, which is making the sauce. So we're going to start off with 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter here in the pan. As soon as that gets melted, oh, and I'm over medium to medium high heat. As soon as that gets melted, we're going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of bottled minced garlic. You could use fresh garlic if you wanted. It's just that I'm trying to be quick, so this is what I'm doing. So we're good enough. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. As soon as we get that in there, I want to stir it around. And we'll cook that for about 1 minute. It will not take very long. It's going pretty quick already. To this, so it might even be 30 seconds like it was for me, we're going to be putting in 1.5 tablespoons of flour. And you want to cook that for just a minute as well. Get that all mixed together right there. Very good. Now we're going to take 1 can, 8 ounces size of tomato sauce. We're going to slowly add that in and stir as we go. My heat's a little high. I'm going to go ahead and cut it back just a moment there. Just a little bit there, I mean. Yeah, that's better. So we're going to stir that together. It's looking great. If you have any little chunks are kind of stuck together, you can kind of tap them out, but generally it won't stick too much. All right, we'll now add in 1 cup of beef broth. And 1 heaping tablespoon of taco seasoning. Once we get that all stirred together, we want to bring this mixture up to a simmer, just a low simmer, and we want that to simmer for 2 minutes. Okay, so now that we have finished with the preparation of the sauce, we're going to be pouring out about 1/2 cup of the sauce into a measure. It doesn't have to be exact, it's just approximate. There we go, that's about right. The rest of this sauce we're going to pour into our leftover, or I should say, our reserved beef onion mixture that we cooked, ground beef. So we're just going to stir that up to combine it. It looks pretty combined, looks great. So now what we'll do is you're going to need a regular size pie plate. So this looks like an 8-inch pie plate. So in the 8-inch pie plate, you're going to be wanting to use the soft taco version of tortillas. So we're going to put one of those in to start with, and then we're going to cover it with about 1/3 of this mixture. And again, don't worry if it's not perfect. It's just approximation. Spread that out evenly. Enough to cover the whole tortilla. And then we will repeat that layering again. And then one more time. Get the rest of our stuff there. And I kind of squish it down so it's starting to be in there like that. And while I'm doing this, I would just want to ask that if you enjoy what you're seeing here, that you would please give this video a like, and also consider subscribing if you haven't already. I would sincerely appreciate that. Then last, we're going to put on one more tortilla. And up here with this tortilla, we're going to use that remaining sauce that we reserved. And just put that over the top. I'm just going to use my spoon because it does not matter if there's just a little bit of stuff that gets in there from that. I usually do it until it just kind of starts to drip over the edges, just a little bit like that. Nice layer. Right, once I have that, the last step before we put it in the oven is to top it with some Mexican shredded cheese. Make your own blend if you want to. Again, I'm just trying to be quick about this. And you don't actually want to put a ton up here. Normally I'm like, more cheese is better, but really you don't want to go too far overboard. Don't ask me why, it just isn't quite as good if you put too much for some reason. But maybe you'll disagree. You can try it for yourself and see what you think. All right, once we have that all topped, it's ready to go into the oven. We're going to put that in the oven for 10 minutes. Once it comes out of the oven, you're going to want to let that sit for 5 minutes before serving. Okay, so you can see we have this finished. It has been sitting for a few minutes so that it can be at a good temperature for serving. And it also just kind of helps it set, if you will. So we're going to cut into this. It's pretty soft, so you can really cut it with a butter knife like what I'm doing. It can be a little tricky to get the first piece out, but once you get past the first piece, it gets a lot easier. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. See, we've got our layers there. Looks really delicious. I know it's delicious, but I'll go ahead and try it anyway here. If I can cut that out. So good. Absolutely delicious and so easy. As you saw, it comes together very quickly. And again, I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you'll tune in for more episodes. Like I said earlier, if you'd please consider subscribing to my channel, I would sincerely appreciate that. Like this video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment for me, and we'll see you next time. Au revoir!